My name is Ddamba and I welcome you to this episode of the Ideation Corner. The Ideation Corner is a space where ideas are discussed and dissected. And today I host Lokman Ali, who is a visual artist who got the first Ugandan movie on Netflix. Lokman, you're very welcome.
Thanks for having me.
I keep pronouncing your name wrong. It's Lokman.
Loukman, yes.
Lokman, okay. So tell us about The Girl in the Yellow Jumper and how you were able to surmount this thing of getting it on Netflix.
What's there to be told? It's a film about a nurse that goes on a revenge mission on behalf of her patient. It's a movie I made back in 2019 on a shoestring budget, so I'm very excited that it made it to Netflix alongside all these $1 million budget films. So we're very, very, very excited about that.
This is such a huge deal. How do you get a movie to Netflix, for example? Because it's the first Ugandan movie to do that.
Yeah, it's the process, of course, is very, what's the word? It's a very Hollywood kind of process. But for my case, someone saw the trailer, and you know how they say you're like always like 5 people away from wherever. Is it 5 or
5?
Fewer, probably.
Yes.
So yeah, someone saw it. They forwarded it to someone at Netflix. That someone reached out, and then they forwarded me to someone in a distribution company that were able to make the deal for me.
Okay, so this trailer was on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Okay,
Still on YouTube. Yeah.
Still there?
Yeah. Still there.
I haven't seen it. And you were talking to me earlier and you said that this was your first movie.
My very first feature film. I made a couple of shorts before that. My very, very first ever thing shot, which is a short film called Monday. It's on YouTube. And then that's the first thing I shot when I bought my very first camera. And then I shot a short film called The Bad Mexican. After that, I made Girl in the Yellow Jumper. So it was my very first time entering into the whole fray of making scripts and writing and stuff like that. Yeah, so in that sense, it was my first film. Your
first film, and it got on Netflix. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And then I also noticed that you're doing the movie and the writing, which is not common. Well, okay, I think it's done, but it's not often.
Yeah. So my dream has always been writing and directing. But I kind of put the writing on the side because I didn't have the confidence to write, you know. So I was more on the visual end of things. So I just kind of got confidence to write a few years ago, started writing. And it's very, very difficult, challenging, but it's fun, you know, it's fun. And yeah, I keep on improving. And I'm excited to see where this whole thing is going.
And you're writing all the scripts of the movies that you're doing?
Yeah. Yeah, because I've always had these ideas that I wanted to produce. So right now, I'm just pulling from like a book. Like I wanted to do this, so now let me try to develop that. I was trying to do this, let me try to develop that, yeah. I have like maybe 5 or 6 things that I'm trying to do.
So we should, like, from you, we should expect another 5 or 6 movies?
Yeah. So once I'm done with those, then I'm thinking of exploring some Ugandan novels, try to turn those into films.
Okay.
I think that will be it for me.
After you're done with that, then you will accept other people's scripts?
I don't think. You know? I'm not really interested. To be not that they're not good. Yeah. It's just that there's a specific kind of thing that unless someone comes up with a specific kind of things that I like, I'm not interested in like just doing movies for the sake. It's like I really like doing this. I really enjoy this, and that's why the things that I do, I pick. I don't care if someone considers it a good story. That's the thing that I want to say, you know. So if someone has something like that, yeah, of course I'll do it. But most people, the kind of things they're doing, I'm not interested. They might be better than my thing, but
you're interested in your thing.
Not just my thing. My kind of thing. It's not saying that I'm the only one that does that kind of thing, but very few people try to do that kind of thing. I'm not doing it well enough, But that kind of thing that I like, if it's done really well, I think it's really good.
Okay.
So
because I've noticed a little theme in the things that you do. Because I've watched The Girl in the Yellow Jumper, Blinded, 16 Rounds.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a theme-ish where there's a certain amount of violence, some violence.
Yeah.
There's always a plot twist, like things are never as they are.
Yeah.
Which is, you know.
Yeah.
And then there may be some shooting or killing. Is that your thing?
Yeah, crime, people getting shot, a lot of violence. Yeah,
There's
stuff
always
like
violence, bad.
So I'm very interested in that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, if the idea of the film is people get shot, everyone dies, or people get shot, that's my kind of movie.
And then you don't understand the plot until the end.
Yeah,
I've also seen that in your.
Because I don't like movies that kind of spoon feed you, give you all the information. I like movies that give you a 2+2, then you have to come up with the answer yourself. Yeah, those are the kind of movies I like, and those are the kind of movies that I want to make. A movie where I've always been interested in, like I was watching the Titanic with someone. It's one of my favorite films from those days. I'm like, I don't like how this guy dies at the end. I'm like, but that's brilliant. If he doesn't die, then it's not a good film. He has to die.
There should have been a happy ending where they both survived.
Because I'm not.
Other people had died. That was enough.
So yeah, but I feel like for me, film is kind of like where you express things that you probably never express in real life. Okay. So also real life never ends like that. It doesn't end at a like happy note. People always just end like at the worst. You just die, you know. So sometimes it's more believable for me for things to end like that. I always like to leave things hanging, because that's how things are in real life. Just you're left there with a lot of questions.
Which, like, what happened? Because I also feel that's another thing in a way, a theme of yours. Because at the end of The Girl in the Yellow Jumper, I feel like no, there should be. I want to know more. What about this guy who is now the killer? We only find out at the end. Then it's the same even in Blinded. When I watched at the end, when I go to the end, I wanted to find out, but how did this all happen? Why? Now I wanted to. There's always like a backstory. There's always something at the end of the things you do that someone wants to know more.
So yeah, I'm very interested in that sort of thing where at the end of the whole thing you're thinking, oh wow, you know, you end it like, okay. I don't like kind of resolving everything. I like to leave something for the person watching to think about, you know. I've not yet reached a point where I do it really well, but I want to get to that point where I do it, and just the movies I watched when I was like 15 and up to today. You still go back I still think about it, and I'm like, oh my God, I wonder how this was resolved. And if it was resolved then I would be thinking about them, you know.
Because now for me, I keep imagining at the end of each of the stuff, even now 16 rounds, I started now making up the stuff. Like I created an additional movie after it. Yeah,
and it's going to be interesting once I create the pre-code, which is Ddamba. Some people will get disappointed because what they created in their minds is not what I'm going to make. But yeah, it is what it is. I'll have to create something, and whether people like it or not.
So Ddamba, because 16 rounds is a short film.
Yeah.
How many minutes? Is it 15 minutes? Can't remember.
Oh, that's I'm flattered if you think it's 15 minutes, because it's close to 40 almost.
It felt short. Yeah, that's the thing. The same even with the Yellow Jumper, I felt like it was 30 minutes. No, so I felt like it finished early.
1 hour and 20 minutes.
But the Ddamba is the full story.
Full story.
Of the short film.
Yes.
Okay.
That might even be 2 hours. Yeah, because it's quite long. It has a lot of crazy things happening.
Okay, when is it coming out?
Hopefully this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you already shot it?
No, still finishing up the writing.
How long does that process take, like from writing to end of movie?
I think writing is the hardest for me. Probably because of how it's so hard for me to write. But the rest of the process, if I have money, I can even do it in a month. But because I don't have money, sometimes I have to like do it in a longer time because of just trying to look for money. Yeah.
So how do people in the industry, say the Ugandan movie industry, I want to call it the Ugandan movie industry, how are you guys funding these things that you're doing?
I'll only speak for myself. For me, I use my own money, money that I make from my other ventures. So
you have a day job?
Yeah, I make TV commercials.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can get money from that and use it to do films. Yeah, and this, so I use my own money. This is why for me, I tend to use the same people because these are the people I trust.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you, Wawuyo is in every...
Yeah, because I trust him with my money.
He's also a good actor.
yeah, he's also a very good actor. Actually, that's a good thing to point out. He is a good actor. So I get a lot of comments where people are like, oh, you need to use more actors. I'm like, if you give me the money, then I'll use whoever you want, because then it's your money. You know? Yeah, but if I'm using my money, then I have to use the person that I know will show up and will deliver. Because when you're shooting, every day can cost you like 10, 15 M every single day. You know?
Every day?
Yeah, or even more. That's like a good day, you know? Can even cost you more, like equipment, personnel, locations, art, all these things. So someone was just not show up on that day, you've lost that money. Even if you're not paying them a single coin, but if they don't show up,
because of all these other things,
they've cost you all that. So you have to use someone who understands what's at stake. You know, when I was shooting 16 rounds, Wawuyo's parents were both in the hospital.
Really?
Yeah.
At that very time that he's busy recording?
The mom was even in intensive care, you know.
And he showed up and still delivered?
Showed up. He didn't show up on time, but we knew what he was going through. But he also knew what we were going through.
So he also understood that if I don't show up...
We found a balance where he's like, I'm first being here, then around this time I'll come and we do this. So that's what I'm talking about. Most people would not understand. They think it was just playing. We can't play with guns.
They won't take it as seriously.
Don't take it as serious. But for us, we know as much as we're not getting paid now, we know that there's a lot of money to be made from this. If we take it serious, you know, treat it as a business, then it will become a business.
Okay. So were you paid by Netflix for your the Galileo? They paid you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So people should start taking it seriously.
It is very serious, yeah. You can get so much money from these things, like a lot of money. People would probably need 5 years to make that money in a good job, in a really good job, you know, and then you can just make that money from something that took you less than a few months to make, you know.
But that's you. It probably takes you less than a few months to make.
No. I'm talking about if you have funding, if you have
you have everything.
It takes you a very short time to make. If you do it really well, it can pay you so much money. People get paid, even people that are doing TV shows here in Uganda get paid like millions of dollars. I'm not talking about Ugandan shillings, but someone gets paid $1 million. A Ugandan here, do you know how much money that is?
That's a lot of money.
Economy
Yes, it's a lot of cash.
So much money. And do you know how many people are getting hired on those jobs? A lot of people. A lot of people. I know a lot of friends that have been hired on these TV shows in Uganda. They're like, now they have families and they're not doing like a very big job on the set. Like a regular job, but now the entire family survives on that.
Okay.
You know?
So what advice would you give someone who, because I was asked to speak to some people about the creative economy, and I did some research, and that's when I found out how huge the creative economy actually is, and how fast it's actually growing, and how much it's growing on the African continent, but then maybe also in Uganda. So what advice would you give someone who is trying to figure out what to do? Maybe they're interested in the creative economy.
Well, most people, this is the problem I have with my people, especially here. And I've always noticed this even in school. Back in school, we're doing art and we're drawing, let's say drawing a portrait of a person, and people are like, no, you don't need to put the details in the shirt. No one cares about that. And me, I'm thinking, but they're there. You should put them, you know. So most people, you see it with the music industry, people that do very good music, no one cares. People will always point out the one that is just doing. So our culture, I don't know, for some reason kind of like puts people that are doing mediocrity on the top. Yeah. So what we have to understand now is that it has gone beyond Uganda. So now we are living in a global village. So whatever you do will always be watched by everyone. So the advice is that we have to stop measuring ourselves with people that are failing in the country. You know, you're thinking that I think I'm
better than that one who is failing.
I'm good enough because I'm better than this person. You know, you have to. People can praise my films as much as they want, or they can criticize them as much as they want. But for me, there's a level I'm looking at. I'm comparing it to, let's say, Spider-Man, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I need to do a lot of work. This is still terrible. You know, someone else might be comparing it to something terrible, and they're saying this is really good compared to this. You know, so for them at that point they can settle. But me, I'm not going to settle because the level at which I want to go is like really high. So if anyone is trying to come up, they need to put their standards really high, and they need to push themselves beyond what is expected of them. Yeah, they need to push themselves beyond what's expected of them.
So we need to raise our standards, like way higher.
We need to just I guess destroy this whole concept of like it's good for Ugandan standards.
Good enough, yeah.
It's good for. I was asking someone, why don't Nigerians listen to our music? And he played me because I'm not so huge on Nigerian music, because I don't like the repetitiveness of some of the songs. It's like the first verse and the chorus, that's all you need, because then it's just going to keep repeating. So I was asking him that, and then he played me some of the songs. I was like, yeah, the quality is way too up. I don't see why someone would listen to that and then want to listen to this.
So you listen to both back to back, a Nigerian one and then a Ugandan one?
Yeah, and I'm thinking, okay, the quality of the music. Not when I'm talking about quality, I don't mean like quality. I mean like the quality of the instrumentation, like how the things are put together, the production. They're using the same tools that the Ugandans are using, but it's like this person is kind of like doing things a bit beyond what you would normally, to the point where you're like, I think Chikora.
As long as it passes.
Where a person is like, the Chikora. The other person is like, no, I think I can make this better.
I can do better.
I think I can make this better. Oh, let me add that guy. It's going to cost me a lot of money to add him to this, but if I add him to this, it will add so much value. So when you see those things, you know, so my idea of how to make this work is to get to a point where I make a movie and a person in the US watches it and they're like, oh, it's a good film. And then someone is like, by the way, it's from Uganda.
By the way.
And like, oh, wait, Uganda is where? So
it's on the African continent.
So you get to that point where someone watches a film, they're like, oh, that's a DiCaprio film, that's a Korean film, that's a African film.
And they're all the same.
And I can all watch them. It's just that the stories are different. Yeah. It's like, these people tell their stories differently. These Ugandans tell their stories differently. But if I was skipping through these films, there wouldn't be a shift in quality. It's like same things. That's what I want to do.
That's where your standard is. That's where your goal is.
That's where the goal is. Yeah.
Okay. It's not to be the best movie maker in Uganda. No.
I think that would be setting the bar a bit too low.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that I'm the best or whatever, but I think if you want to,
you're the only one.
If you want, that doesn't mean much. But if you want to exercise, for 30 minutes, you need to set your goals at an hour. So if you fail the hour, at least you land back.
Maybe on
30 minutes or 40. At least you're landing back to where you're supposed to be. But you put your goal higher. If you put it exactly at 30, you might find yourself sometimes landing in the 20s, 10s, you know. So that's what I'm saying.
Okay. Because I remember when the Yellow Jumper had just come up on Netflix, and I was on social media, and a lot of people were bashing the movie before they watched the movie. Because I saw some people were bashing the movie before they watched the movie, and I didn't understand. How can you bash the movie?
They even admit that they've not watched it.
Yeah, they even state, I haven't watched the movie, but I think it's not good.
Yeah.
But you haven't watched it. How does that make sense?
And someone says that, I can't watch that movie because it has yellow in it. I'm like, okay. It's crazy. It's crazy. How can you give up a color simply because because someone you don't like uses it. That's crazy. It's kind of like, it's like if someone started using shoes and they use them as their logo.
Then you stop wearing the shoes.
It's crazy, you know. you be giving these people way too much power by allowing them to take something that it existed before any of their ideas. You know? It's crazy. People say that, and I think it speaks a lot to how our culture is. There are people that are just negative. They're like, if it's not happening to me, I would rather
it does not happen
to anyone. You know, it's like I'm not a soccer fan. I don't really care about football. But if Uganda Crane goes to the Africa Cup or World Cup,
you're supporting Uganda Cranes.
I'm buying the shirts. I'm doing all these things. You know, because
it's Uganda Cranes.
It's Uganda Cranes.
And you're representing.
So and that's what I was telling people. You know, this film might not be the best film because it's my first film. I've done films that are way better than it now. But if it's on Netflix, I mean, just go watch it. You don't even have to watch it. Just switch it on. Do something else. Mute. Just because if it works on Netflix, they see that we're watching these films, then a movie you like might go on.
Exactly.
Another movie that
Uganda movie. Like, it opens the door.
It opens the door. Yeah. The movie that you like will end up there, and then you'll see the one you like. But you can't start closing the door before it opens. You know.
And for me, my concern actually was that the same Ugandans in a way would be the ones praising another country for having a movie on Netflix. Yeah. And yet when Uganda gets a movie on Netflix, they're bashing it. So I don't understand that.
To be honest, I think I understand why we have this thing. It's like you know how in school you're beaten for speaking your language. Yeah. And you're praised for speaking another language. Yes. So there's something it does something to you where you think your things are not good and your other people things are better. This is why when someone brings you a shoe, like this is made in Uganda, your obvious reaction will be it can't be good. This one is made in the US.
Yeah, it must be good.
This must be good. You understand? But I don't know why it's like that. So every time you'll see a Ugandan artist and then a Nigerian artist, and the Ugandan people will side with the Nigerian ones. And the Nigerian people will never side with the Ugandan.
Never, ever.
They would never. You know, sometimes it's embarrassing. Sometimes you look at it and you're like, okay, I understand maybe this person is a bit lacking, but you have to understand what is the Nigerian person working with and what is the Ugandan person working with. You know, if they're put on the same platform, if they're both working with the same level of capital and the same things, do you think that shift in quality would be there? Like if I had the money that a movie they like had, if I had the same amount,
the kind of budget,
like how would my movie be? So people are comparing me to Don't Look Up, which has all these Oscar-winning people
and millions and millions of dollars in a budget. Yes,
and I'm working with like
with your day job money,
my day job money, with people that have been acting as a side gig. You know,
even the people who act for you are saying this is a side gig.
Side gig. They're not like full because it can't pay them. You know. So the fact that you can actually even put,
but maybe it's a good thing if they can even compare you with Don't Look Up.
That's what I'm saying. It's the fact that you can
put them in the same place.
The same place. It's good enough for me because I'm thinking, if only I had half of what they have, I think I wouldn't even be in the same category with them.
No, then you'll be way higher.
We'll be way higher, you know. So I think sometimes Ugandans need to learn to. I'm not saying you should just support mediocrity, of course. No, you shouldn't. But it's kind of like I can make fun of my brother, but when I find him out there being made fun of by other people, I always take his side because this is family.
Yes.
Now that we are out,
there,
this is family.
Yes.
After I save you from those people,
then I can tell you,
criticize you on the side that how
could you get into this?
Yeah, because it's so funny how Nigerians were loving the film. Yeah. Nigerians were commenting.
I think I saw more love from Nigeria, from Kenya, from South Africa for your movie than I did from Uganda.
Yeah, but it's expected. It's expected, and I was telling someone that it's fine. I don't mind this happening because I know Ugandans. I will win them over at some point.
So now, you expected that?
Yeah, it's expected. It's expected. They will. I'll tell you this. I understand Ugandans so well. I think because I've been here for a long time, I understand them so well. I can even tell you how it's going to happen. Netflix, if this thing worked, of course they're going to be like, they don't like it. If I do another one, if I do one that I'm like where let's say I do it really well, it goes up there, and it is pushed on like international platforms, and some white people talk about it, and white people are impressed with it, and white people say this is amazing. Then
the Ugandans
will be like, oh, for a white person thinks it's good,
it must be.
Then it must be good, whether that's how it is. And then I will win them over.
Then they'll start embracing you.
They'll start embracing me. But then after, if they embrace me for so long, after a while, then some people will be like, he's overrated.
They'll dump you again.
No, I don't like this guy. Simply because so many people like you. Like that's the cycle. Like that. Until so that happens, then I have to run through that again one more time. Now if I get that one more time, then I've reached a level where I can't be pulled down.
Yeah.
Where I can't be pulled down. Kind of like how people would hate on Lupita Nyong'o. Then she gets so far out of reach, then the only thing left to do,
Oscar winner, they have no choice.
Then the only thing left to do is to like her. You have to. There's like you not liking her actually makes you look bad. Then they jump. That's how it is. So I know exactly and I know the stage I'm on now. And I know what's happening. And it's accepted. And I'm like,
you're right now being pulled down for now.
Now I know I have to be pulled down by people who don't even know why they're pulling me down. Some people just pull me down simply because they know someone who's pulling me down.
So they pull you down on their behalf, on the other person's behalf?
Yeah, or pull me down because they're like, how dare he gets there before me? How dare he,
But some people you're not even in the movie industry. You're not, like you're just an audience. And since you're just an audience, go watch the movie.
Yeah.
But I saw some people who are like bashing the movie before they watch the movie. We're like, what are you bashing then? If you haven't watched it, why are you?
Some guy commented and he said that this movie is like BS. I hate it, and I feel terrible that I recommended people to watch it, and I don't know what to tell them now. And I'm thinking, and of course, I have no problem replying these people because it doesn't rub me the way that would piss me off. I'm not going to go and attack
and be upset about it.
So I can look at things with logic. So it's like, it's so bad. There's so many other Ugandan movies that are better than this that I've seen. So I went and asked him, like, of all these Ugandan movies that you've seen, which one have you, and he was saying that there's so many other Ugandan movies that don't get this level of attention that are really good. So then because I know that I did not manufacture this attention, I didn't pay people to, it just happened organic. I put stuff out.
People liked it.
And people started sharing it. So then I told him that of all these movies that you like, which one have you shared? Like which one have you come out here and told people to watch? Nothing, right? Now, how do you expect that movie to get attention if you
like it, but you haven't bothered?
You don't bother to do this, He's like, no, you see, I'm not so much into the film things, and then he says that, and then I told him that, okay, so you see, if you get this girl in the Yellow Jumper film and you watch it, right? You don't like it, that's fine, but you discouraging other people from watching it and not letting them decide, because some people like it. How do you know these people will not like it? Or if you discourage people from watching this, then you're doing a disservice to the films you like. Because if people like this, then
they may not know about it.
Then they will try to inquire about other Ugandan films, and who knows? Maybe you'll get the ones that you like on the platform.
Yeah.
So I think some people just don't look at it that way, and they don't think about what they're saying. They don't see the bigger picture. But I think if they start doing, then we'll be in a better
Maybe we'll be in a better place then. So Loukman, we're almost out of time. Are there any last words you would like to say? Some things you want to highlight?
Just continue watching Ugandan stuff. That's the only way we'll grow. Instead of dismissing it that Ugandan stuff is bad, try to watch it, because all these other industries that you watch, like the Nigerians,
Nollywood, they watch their own stuff.
They also started like really like down there, but it's the support. Because if you watch Girl in the Yellow Jumper and you come out and you're like, oh, I watched this film, I liked this, I didn't like this, then I can focus on changing what you didn't like and make it better. But if you tell people not to watch it, then I will never know. I'll never know. We'll always be there.
Yeah, always be in the same place.
Always be in the same place.
Yeah.
So you have to watch it, You see what you don't like, and it will be improved. It's not static. We're moving.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you heard it. That is Lokman encouraging you to watch The Girl in the Yellow Jumper. It's on Netflix. Please do watch it. If you have problems with it, let him know. If you like it, let him know as well. But yeah, thank you so much for watching.